Good morning, Mr. Roa. Can you introduce yourself and share your experience in Industry 4.0 or EdTech?
Okay. Good morning, ma'am. I am Naphtali Roa III. I'm a college instructor at Taguluan Community College. My background is in IT education, specifically in system administration, web development, and information management. So over the years, I've integrated Industry 4.0 concepts such as cloud computing, automation, and as well as AI into my teaching to ensure that my students are well prepared for the evolving technology landscape. Additionally, I actively also explore and implement edtech tools to enhance student engagement and optimize learning experiences.
Oh, so based on your experience, sir, how do you define Industry 4.0 or EdTech and why it is important today?
Uh, as per my knowledge, ma'am, I think Industry 4.0 is the ongoing digital transformation in industries that also affects the academe. This is actually driven by technologies like the very popular one, which is artificial intelligence. We also have Internet of Things or IoT. We also have robotics and the big data. So it's revolutionizing how businesses operate as well as making their processes more efficient and intelligent. With regards naman to EdTech, this actually, on based on my experience as well, based on my knowledge, this is actually the use of technology in education to improve teaching and learning experiences. So if I'm not mistaken, this includes learning management system. That's on the point of view of the IT. AI-driven tutoring and also gamified learning experiences. So this advancement in technology, particularly in the implementation sa EdTech, are critical today because, as what I've noticed, they bridge the skills gaps. Uh, it can even personalize education, and then more so, it can prepare students for future workplace, which is already technology driven. That's my answer, ma'am.
So, what are the biggest challenges in adopting new technologies in industry and how can be it addressed for you, sir?
Okay, actually, I have four. This is not only based on what my experience is, but also what I've read online, based on some journals and some research. So the very popular one, which is actually true to all, is especially if you're in a workplace where there is a difference between age. There's really some resistance in change. It's actually both from educators and students. So many are accustomed to traditional methods and may be hesitant to adopt new tools. That's really the reality. So to address this one, our school and even my previous schools before, they really implement proper training and hands-on experience to showcase the benefits of this technology. That's one solution I noticed. Another is really, this is another true to all, like it's really an absolute challenge or limitation. It's all in the technology infrastructure. Not all institutions have the resources for high-end computing or AI-powered tools. Even in our school, we also have that kind of limitation. So one way to overcome that one is by leveraging, I don't know if you're familiar with cloud-based computing, ma'am. These are open source, some of them are open source technologies na instead of buying the real equipment, we just do simulation on it so that the students can have the idea on what it looks like, how does it work. So ganyan yung ginagawa namin. Another one is yung sa ethical. This is actually a big debate on online. It's more on the ethical and privacy concerns, especially with AI use in automations. Institutions. So to address this one of the solutions they provide is to really implement a strict data protection. Like all the policies should be laid upon, and then it should really be enforced. Yan yung sa cybersecurity namin na area. And then it should really be like it should be out in the open. Like all of the policies with regards to data privacy, it should really be out in the open so that everyone will be aware, like were there violations or what are the things we need to do if ever some problems may arise. And the last one is really the skills gap. Because of the pandemic, there's really a major hurdle on the skills gap. Many students, as what I notice, is that they graduate without practical experience in emerging technologies. So to address this, what our school is doing is that we provide a strong collaboration between the academe and the industry. We really look forward and then we really encourage our students to go to industries because the four corners of the room or of the school is not really enough for them. So during their last stages in school, we really require them to go to industries that will really bridge the gap in terms of skills. That's those are the four. So that's my answer, ma'am, for your previous question.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, additional question, sir. So, how can educators and institution prepare students for the demands of this industry, aside from exploring them into their field?
Uh, what we practice here is that we do project-based outcomes, like project-based learning, ma'am. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but I'm pretty sure you are.
Yes.
So it means you are giving students with the real-world problems to solve emerging technologies that will help them develop their critical thinking skills. We also do collaboration with industry. Although it's not quite yung tawag dyan, like hindi siya always na ginagawa. But then we really try our best to do that one. Because partnering with them will really provide not only experience but they provide even mentorships, case studies that will really ensure that our students will have hands-on experience. Additionally, ito yung bago sa amin, ma'am, actually. We have interdisciplinary approach. So students not just learn only technical skills, but we also provide them with business skills, communication skills that are crucial in Industry 4.0 kasi nga, most of our industry would always tell us, skills can be taught, but yung mga soft skills bitaw, it's really hard to, it would be a burden on them na sila pa yung magtuturo. Yan yung concern nila. So, the skills they can provide, but as early as possible, we need to also provide them some training on building their character, particularly on teamwork. Yan yung mga common nila na request on our end.
Okay, so what are some of the most impactful edtech tools or strategies that have improved in teaching and learning?
Okay, I'd like to give credit to LMS, Learning Management System, because they were really the lifesaver during pandemic. Yun yung na ano ko talaga. So, like for example, I don't know if you're familiar with Moodle. Of course, Google Classroom is there. You also have the Blackboard. They have really provided facility in course delivery, making materials, and of course, assessment more accessible. For technical subjects naman, on our end, we have coding platforms like GitHub. Last year, I used Jupyter Notebooks to allow my students to practice coding in real time. We also have, or I also encourage my students to use AI-powered assistants for them to help in their debugging kasi sa amin sa IT, it's so easy to code, but then it's so hard to debug. Like that will really be, the debugging part will really take time. So we really encourage them, sige, you can use AI for debugging, but not really the coding part. And then the very interactive na I can is the gamification. In my previous schools, we because I taught also senior high school, I introduced them with Kahoot and then Duolingo. Yeah, they are really interactive and engaging. And the very medyo mahal siya is yung VR and then simulation tools, because they really provide, like if it's really implemented in the learning setup, it's really good because students get to be engaged, interested, and they really participate well. So LMS, yung mga online platforms, and then the gamification technologies are my suggestions or strategies that I use in my classroom nowadays.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, last two questions. Okay, what are the ethical considerations should be taken into account when using AI, automation, and digital learning tools?
Okay, so before I answer that one, I think it's really it's best to say na before you use AI, you need to really do some research on how it works so that you'll have an idea on how to, like for example, how to not how to, but what are the things you need to share with them. But technically speaking, I'll go for bias and fairness in AI algorithms. It should be addressed to ensure that technology does not unintentionally discriminate. Most of institutions need to be transparent on how to use AI especially when they use it in decision making. And then in terms naman of data privacy, ma'am, it's one of the critical issue. But with so much personal and academic data being stored digitally, there must be really be strict policies in place to protect student and information. Just like in our school, we really practice data privacy. It's already a law in the Philippines, but the more concern is that how will it be tapped to AI? So just for ano lang, those are my concerns. But then again, these concerns will be addressed if you just really do your research on what is being collected, how your data is being processed. So that's it, ma'am.
Okay, so for my last question, sir. So what
Yes.
can you advise would you give to the students, educators, or professionals looking to succeed in this field?
One major advice I can give to them is really find time to learn new things, especially that 4.0 is not even the end of the evolution of technology. We need to be open-minded because since we are educators, diba, learning should not stop. And then we need to embrace all new changes. But of course, we need to adhere to what is really the standard of our education industry. Another also na I can give really, this is also what I also teach, what I share to my colleague is to really be patient in learning new technologies kasi nga hindi masyadong like it's not vaguely provided yung mga documentations on how to use it particularly in the academe, but if there will be time and patience, I think you will really be good with it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Roa. Thank you for giving your time to me for my interview.
Yes,
I
ma'am. No,
hope in the future, if ever we have some interviews again, I can contact you.
no problem, ma'am. Sure
Uh,
thing, sure thing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.